It's the God, Geometry999. I'm back at it again. You know what I mean? Feeling good, feeling great. I'm full of gratitude, feeling prosperous, you know. This rendition of R.E.D, refining energy daily, I will be discussing two subjects. And the reason why I'm getting not necessarily the mundane stuff, but kind of mundane things out of the way, because I feel like they are necessary, And I feel that when it comes to young men, young women that are in the underworld, that maneuver certain types of ways, I feel like there isn't really any real systematic rules and regulations, guidelines, or even wisdom on certain subjects. Most guys, who have been in the game, and people who have maneuvered in a certain way, who have reached high levels of success, they usually tell people don't do it. And I don't feel like that's fair, because there is no Malcolm X without Malcolm Little. You know what I mean? There is no, and this is there is no, I don't really like to mention people who are alive, because I haven't really seen what I haven't. I want to see your whole picture. I want to see you play it all the way out. You know what I mean? Because I feel like you can name somebody now, like a present person that you see doing something now, and then years down the line, they did something real detrimental to who they were and to their character. We've seen it a thousand times with certain leaders and certain people, or even not even leaders, just people in life, people in general. So for me to really, and for lack of better terms, for me to discern a person, who they are, and their real character, and for me to watch them like from afar and just like observe them and even be inspired by them, I have to see them die. Because then I know who they really are. I know I got to see them on their journey from the time that I seen them. I didn't see their inception, but I got to see the time that I seen them to their death. And of course, I didn't get into their personal life, but I feel that who you are personally just leaks into who you present yourself to be, your persona, because there's just certain things that you can't really hide. Like I said, if you listen to a person talk long enough and you observe a person long enough, you will understand who that person is. You will see that their patterns. You will see, it's all geometrical. You will see who they are as a person. So for me on this journey, like, that's why I feel like I didn't want to do what I'm doing now, but I did at the same token, but I didn't feel like I was ready. I'm 31. I feel like I'm too young. I don't really feel like you know shit until you 40. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really your mind, just especially as a melanated male, your mind is really just opening up at 40. And then you really don't even really know how to operate seriously like until you 70, because my favorite people, my favorite people people who I sit down, I chop game with, and when I did get high, you know, I don't get high anymore. I don't smoke bud anymore. But when I did sit down, we smoke blunts. You know, I'm smoking. They 50 years older than me because they tell me the truth. Like they tell me the truth. Like it ain't no sugarcoat and nothing. Like even if it hurt my feelings, like you know what I mean. You know, they tell me the truth. They tell me it is. They tell me how it is, and that's just something that I've always respected. Like I respect wisdom. I respect age, right? So the things that I'm going to be talking about today are money, currency, and war, occult warfare, mental warfare, physical warfare. And I feel like these two are really intertwined. You know, honestly, if I was to talk about a third thing, but I'm going to concentrate what I'm talking about and keep it concise, it would be sex. Sex would also play a vital role with those three things. But I'm thinking that I'm going to come back to that at a later date and just focus on these two. I was going to just do one subject, but I feel like these two are very intertwined. So I'm going to go on these subjects, right? One thing about maneuvering in life in general, but definitely when you in the underworld, and the reason why I am talking to the underworld so much, because I don't feel like there has been a good example. You know, for me, you know, I spent 10 years of my life on probation. And, you know, most of them years on probation, I was maneuvering, you know, I was taking federal risk. Yeah, I ain't glorifying it. But I was taking, you know, taking real federal risk, you know. Maneuvering, I mean, now at this age and at this wisdom, kind of recklessly to even be playing with my life and my freedom like that. It's really foolish, but I feel like every person must go through their hero's journey. Like it ain't no skipping those steps. Like I ain't gonna just tell you, hey, no, don't do that. Go get a job. Oh, go to college. No, 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 no. I feel like you need to live your life. You need to make your mistakes. But at the same token, there are some cheat codes that I can give, you know, because two things, really three things. Like I never took no L's. Of course, I learned lessons, but my OG, you know, the way he gave me the game, he said the only way you really take a loss in the game is if someone shoots you, you get shot. You know, whether you live or you die, that's a loss. Or you go to prison. You know, you go to prison, that's a loss. You know, he felt like jail and taking or getting losses in the streets and stuff like that. Those were just lessons. Those were just part of the game. But once they ship you off, and once somebody puts something in you, then you know that's a real loss. And not saying that that's necessarily even a bad thing, because you know, look at Mike Tyson. You know, and then I feel like Mike Tyson has reinvented himself so many times. Like I feel like I know that. You know what I mean? You know, I don't see him doing anything that we wouldn't expect him to do at this point in the game. But you know, and he's so close to death, I feel like. But so that's like me contradicting myself, which you know, it's part of the game too. That's a part of the game too. So, and I'm just looking at his career, like looking at his boxing career, or even Muhammad Ali, you know. But then there are those who go undefeated in the game, in the career. which is very rare. And that's something that I did. And I did that from listening to my elders, paying homage to my ancestors, being able to see the signs, using my discernment, things that I had to develop, using my discipline, being consistent. You know, these are things that I had to consistently develop. So, when we talk about money, currency, energy, the thing that matters the most, especially when you're running a business, whether legal or illegal, will be the people that you surround yourself with. The people that you surround yourself with. This will become your mastermind alliance. So, the way this manifests is, which in this paradigm that I'm speaking from, these are pyramidal structures that I'm speaking of. I now move more so in a circle. You know, this is just the evolved me. Like, I know how to humble myself, so to say, and listen, you know. But prior to me gaining this wisdom and understanding, now it was pretty much my way or get out the way, you know. And you have to kind of be that way in a sense when the stakes are so high. The stakes are so high, you know, you could literally lose your life. And there is no higher, you know, of course, death is life and life is death if you really know how to play it. You should really be dying. Every year, something of you should die, you know. Certain aspects of you should die for new aspects of you to be born. But who you surround yourself with will play a important role in how far you will go. As a leader, it will be the hardest position to play. And you would need to have certain things in place. For one, you have to take care of your aesthetics. You have to make sure that you as a person you as a vessel is R. I don't know. Which way that go? Which way that go? Is it R is? You as a vessel R. You as a vessel is. I don't know. We just gonna say is aesthetically pleasing. You want to be aesthetically pleasing. And what I mean by that, it means taking care of your appearance, you know, grooming yourself, ironing your clothes, keeping your environment clean, keeping your home clean, you know, keeping your car clean, taking care of your car, you know, making sure your hair is taken care of, making sure that your appearance is pleasing. Because this says a lot to the people that you're dealing with. This says a lot to your team. This says a lot to your clientele, which is you will have clientele before you have a team. You don't just go into the game and develop a following. You will have clientele. So that means that every day, you know, making sure that you iron your clothes, making sure that you know, put your smell goods on, you taking a shower, you know, you hitting your workouts, you doing what you're eating healthy, you know, you're drinking water. this will be important because if you looking like a slouch and you just woke up out the bed and this, that, and the third, nobody gonna want to spend no money with you. Nobody want to invest no money in you if you just not giving a fuck about how you looking and how you feeling. You know what I mean? And sometimes when you look good, you feel good. Oftentimes when you look good, you feel good. You know what I mean? If you just coming out the house, you ain't earned your shirt, you ain't earned your pants, your shoes dirty. Come on now, what we doing? Unless you gonna go work out, cause sometimes I do that to go work out. You know what I mean? Cause it's like and I work out outside, so that's the way the game goes. But baby, I need to start. You know what I mean? Nah. You gonna get the gist. You going to the gym, then you going to the gym. You gonna go work out or however you get it in, you gonna go get it in. But when you setting yourself up, especially if you come from an impoverished environment, especially when you come from an impoverished environment, you ain't gotta look like you in poverty. And you might not have the money to go buy the nicest threads, but you can keep your things clean. You can wash your shoes off. You can get some Dawn dish detergent. You know what I mean? Get you an old dirty rag. Wipe them shoes down. You know what I mean? Clean your shoestrings. These little bitty details matter. You know what I mean? And the only people it don't matter for, and this is just me being real, like people who come from money. When you already like some of my different race partners, you know what I mean? I got a lot of money with people outside of my race. So some of those guys, they'd be dirty, shoed, wrinkled, shirted out, but be loaded. Be loaded. You know what I mean? But they come from money, of course. So I'm saying, like, I guess it's when you get to a certain level, hey. But right now I'm talking to him. I'm talking to her. I'm talking to the ones that know, the young chosen ones that come from those impoverished environments, those environments, with violence, destruction, death. You know what I mean? It's hard to make it out of those environments, but it's very, 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 very possible. Especially right now, I can feel the energy shifting. The energy is definitely shifting. It's not as violent as it was. The energy is shifting. It's not as violent as it was. There are more opportunities. There are so many more opportunities. It's easier than it has been, but there are way more distractions. So many more distractions. So many more distractions. Also, one thing that keeps me abundant is I'm a giver. Being a giver makes you a receiver. Being a giver makes you a receiver. Of course, you should give to your family when you have it, especially if you maneuver and you making tax-free money. You should definitely be helping your family out. But most importantly, you should help out those who you have no you have no real connection to, because that entails that you're giving from your heart, right? And one way I used to enjoy doing this was I would go under the bridge in my city. I would go under the bridge, and under the bridge, there's this place under the bridge, and it's like close to downtown. And there would be like a lot of just people that were really just down bad and on their luck. And I would hand out money. I would hand out money. And interesting story. You know, this is an interesting story. So for me, I grew up watching all the mob movies. You know, so for me, structure is important. I value structure and I value wisdom. So of course, with that being said, I had a OG in the streets. You know, P, what it do? I had a OG in the streets. You know, he showed me a lot of things to do that I needed to do in the game, and he showed me a lot of things that I didn't want to do. You know what I mean? I was able to decipher his flaws and who he was as a person at his core, and know that certain things I didn't want to do, but there were certain things that I admired about him as well. You know, I admired things about him as well. So at one point in time, me and him kind of weren't seeing eye to eye. So I went and took it up on myself to go and, you know, branch out and go chill with some other people, you know, politic maneuver with this other guy. So this is one guy that I had saw on, he was like Facebook cool, you know what I mean? But he also knew, he knew one of my old soldiers that from one of my middle school gangs that I had been a leader of. He was connected to him. So we kind of had linked. I forget how we initially linked, but I ended up like linking with him. The guy was really not who he looked like he was on Facebook. You know, Facebook, he looked like he was rich and having his way, but in reality, it was very far from the truth. I was actually doing better than him. Not to compare it, but I'm just saying, like, you know how, anyway. So, I'm actually hanging with him. He's copping from me for his little re-up, so he older than me and everything. So he can, which that doesn't matter, but he's copping from me for his re-up so he can take care of his clientele. So I'm chilling with this guy. There's certain things about him. I don't know. It's just like, one thing you always have to have is discernment. You know, you got to know how to look a person in the eyes and see their soul. Because everybody who appears to be human is not human. Everybody who appears to be human is not human. Some people are vessels for certain entities. So I'm maneuvering with this guy, this, that, and the third, and I'm a concise it. So there's like three of them. There was another guy, and I'm over at this little home that they would stay at. You know, I'm trapping out of it. I'm getting money, and one day we're sitting on the couch, and one of the little younger guys that was with him, he was talking about how he had this much money, that much money, and this, that, and the third. And I'm young at the time. I'm like 19. Now I just know so much better, but you know, sometimes I have to learn the hard ways of things. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? He like saying like he got more money than me. I'm like, what? Nigga, I got bands. What you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I think I even pulled some money out. Slap it on my lap. Nigga, I got bands. I'm whoop, this, that, and third. And like the look of just envy and just anger was just on both of their face, just so much, you know what I mean? So it was like maybe the day later, one night, Buddy called me and was like, yeah, I need two of them. Can you bring whoop this dude, whoop. It's late at night, like at a certain time, like at this time in my life, I didn't maneuver after a certain time. There really was no point. Like, I'm going to bed. What we talking about? So like, nah, I'll just catch you tomorrow. And I felt weird about it when he said it. Like, I felt really weird about it when he said it. Like, I don't know, just something didn't feel right. Even though it was small to me, I still felt like something don't feel right. Certain things I really like to leave in the past. I haven't talked about this in a long time. You know, I mean, whatever, you know. Make a short story long, a long story short. Whatever, you know. Well, this ain't even for me. So I'm gonna keep going with it. This talking in front of a camera and doing this and it's actually more difficult than what it appears. Especially, I feel like, when you're talking from the heart. Anyway, so I come the next day, I pull up on him. Something told me to leave my pistol in the car. So I usually always keep my pistol on me, but this time around I just left my pistol in the car. I don't really know why. So I hop out, I come in the house, shit feel like, kind of feel eerie in here. Feel eerie in the house. So it's three guys, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, what's Buddy at? Whoop. So Buddy, who was in a soldier in one of my gangs growing up, he comes around the corner first, like leading them from the kitchen. I'm waiting on them to come out. He comes around the corner first, leading them in the kitchen. And there's two of his little buddies behind him. So he has his hand behind his back, and I'm like, what the fuck going on? And he comes from behind his back and smack me in the head with a fucking thick ass big vase. I don't know what I did, but I know, like, I kind of blacked out for a minute, but then I came to. I'm holding this big fucking knife. This fucking big boy knife. If it was smaller, it probably would have been more detrimental because he could have worked it better, honestly. But the knife was this big, and he had it like at my sternum, and I'm just fucking I'm holding him. So I'm holding him. I'm holding the knife. I'm holding him. And then, like, the other two, they start picking up weapons and shit and, like, hitting me. So I'm, like, shielding them. Poof. Like, I'm turning into fucking, I don't know, like, you know, I'm out of my body a little bit. So I'm like, I'm fighting him off. I'm holding a big-ass knife off of me. Boom. So I'm holding him. And they like, sit down. Sit the fuck down. Sit down. So I'm not sitting down. Niggas is not about to kill me. Like, but I feel like, if this knife goes in me, like, I'm gone. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if we can say that shit on YouTube. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going, but you know, I feel like they about to take my life. So, you know what I mean? I'm fighting. One of them smacked me like with a big ass, like one of them wooden chair legs in my fucking leg, trying to like. So I'm like fighting them off. So this guy who who lived next door, he so happened to be in the house at the time. So he comes out his room and he comes out the room with the guy's dad or whatever. He comes out the room, like it's something. I'm not going into all the backstory, but anyway, he comes out the room and he's like, what's going on? So like I'm fighting these three dudes and he's like, stop, what are y'all doing? So I'm like, this giving me time and shit. So he comes over and like hits Buddy's arm, and like I'm still holding his arm. He hits his arm, and like he finally knocks the knife out of his hand, glue. So we finally get the knife out of Buddy's hand. Like he came through, like and helped me. You know what I mean? Like for real. Like I don't really know how it would have all went down if Buddy wouldn't have came through for me. Like somebody would have died. You know what I mean? It might not even have been me, because eventually, you know what I mean? I might would have, I don't know. We don't know how I would have went down. You know, it was 3 against 1 though. They all had weapons. I had no weapon. You know. Mind you, my pistol in the car, which I'm you know, I know it's there. So I leave out the house. I walk out the house. And then like one of the little dudes, he ran off. Like one of the little buddies, he had ran off. And so then I come down, we outside, and it's two of them. So I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna fuck these niggas up. I still ain't even went for my pistol. Like I ain't thinking about my pistol. Like I get in my stance, like I'm ready to, you know what I mean? You know, I was a Golden Gloves champ, you know. Look at me, I done lived the life, but I was really a Golden Gloves champ. So, you know, I know how to move my hands. So I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? We outside, we got spaces, it's 2-on-1. I like these fucking odds. Let's go. You know, one of the little niggas, he's scared and well, you gonna square with me? He pick up a brick. These niggas. So the nigga pick up a brick. He like, ooh. So like Buddy who helped me, he like, go. Get out of here. Just go. Get out of here. So I'm looking at him like, yeah, maybe I should go. So I leave, you know what I mean? I take off. I end up going to the other side of town to my auntie house, you know what I mean? I popped in one of the little stores. Buddy gave me a shirt who owned the little corner store. He gave me a white tee, you know what I mean? I had like a little gash right here. You still probably can see it anyway. But I had like a little gash here. Still there. It's like it's really minute now, but you know, I patched that up, put me a little band-aid on, and you know what I mean, went over to my auntie house. Kind of was fucked up in the head a little bit. So, you know, maybe like 2 weeks later, shit, I'm like, man, they gotta go. All 3 of them, they gotta go. They gotta go. Mine's all nice here, you know what I mean? They gotta go. Ain't none of that. No, ain't no. It might have just been a week later. It might have been 2 weeks. I'm like, they gotta go. You know what I mean? So I had bought like a new little whip and this, that, and the third. So late night, I put my gloves on. I put my mask on. This was before the shiesties. I had a full-on ski mask. I mean, I'm sure the shiesties was out, but I had a full-on ski. I'm all blacked up. So I ride over there and I park on another street. Like I park on the street over, and like there's like a way to like go through. So in a cut to get through their backyard. So I go through this cut and I'm in their backyard. So I'm sitting in the bushes. I'm in all black. And Buddy, who was my old soldier and shit, he getting dropped off by somebody. And he got some McDonald's on. He had some Jordan 4s on. He had like a little shirt. But I remember he had like them Superman Jordan 4s. You very rarely see them. He had on some Superman Jordan 4s. And he had a McDonald's bag and a McDonald's cup. And they had like their door open. So the house from the side, I'm sitting in the bushes, the door open. So I could hear them niggas in there, like probably 2 niggas in there. I could hear them talking. And here come Buddy. He coming up the thing. And I'm like, oh, I got him. he gone. And I hear a voice in my head say, don't do it. I'm like, I'm fighting with the voice, like, what? You know, my sight, what you mean don't do it? Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. So I just I don't do it. I let him pass with the group. Let him go. Pull off. I'm gonna go get my car pulled off. I actually go get one of my little partners because I'm like, shit. Why the fuck did I not do it? Was I scared? What's going on? I don't know, but I know I'm not scared. I don't know. It's just something won't let me do it. So like, make a long story short, short story long, I didn't do it. He ended up Buddy ended up crashing out. He ended up shooting this guy. He ended up getting like 20-something years in prison after that. And, just maybe a week later, he ended up crashing out and looking, the two of the guys, they both ended up crashing out looking goofy, doing something, one on a dummy mission and crashing out for a little bit of nothing. But to get to the story when I was saying that you should give. So I'm up under the bridge one day and I'm giving, and guess who I see? Buddy who really saved my life, who helped me out. I'm like, oh. So I'm just so happy to give out money. I pull out I don't even know how much, maybe I don't know how much it was, and I handed it to him. It was some 20s, a little wad of 20s. And he nah, I don't need that much. I'm like, huh? He's like, I don't need that much. He's like, I'm gonna buy drugs if you give me that much. I'm gonna go get some H if you give me that much. And I'm like, damn. Well, here, just take a little bit. You know what I mean? Take a little bit. Just take a little bit. Go get you some food or something. Go get you some clothes. He was looking rough. He was out there messed up. But oftentimes you really don't know how certain things, when you help people out, how it's going to come back to you. You don't know how it's going to come back to you, but it is going to come back, especially when you do it from the heart. Really, there was no amount of money that I could have gave him to give him the gratitude for my life. And as well, you got to listen to that inner voice. You gotta have that discernment and listen to your inner voice. And on top of that, you gotta stay away from fuck niggas. And that's a crazy term, but you gotta stay away. You see too many flaws in a person's character. When you see too many flaws in a person's character, stay the fuck away from them. Stay far away from them. Especially if they not trying to get better. They gonna bring you down. They gonna bring you down. Stay away from them. Now, it's one thing if you're being a leader and someone is, they are actually open to being better. They're open to being better. Then that's another thing. But if you seeing somebody and they stuck in their ways and they got all type of vices and this, that, and the third, and just stay away from them. Stay away from negative people. Stay far away from them, because it could cost you your life. It could cost you your freedom just from the people that you were putting yourself around. So this is going to go into warfare, which I'm not even all the way finished talking about. The money aspect, but this is going to go into warfare. When it comes to warfare, you want to be well versed and to know that true warfare is mental. True warfare is mental. The most intelligent person is always going to win. The wisest one is always going to win. The most organized one is always going to win. Good thing about that happened though is it sent me on a self-improvement journey. Started working out, started reading, you know what I mean? Started meditating, you know, kind of that hitting the head with that vase, you know what I mean? Sparked something in my consciousness, like never again. We ain't gonna never let no niggas outsmart us or play with us like that again. Never again. We ain't win. How? It turned me into a beast. I ain't going. And not saying like I ain't going, like I'm just gonna knock something down as soon as it play with me. I ain't even gonna give it the chance to play with me because I'm gonna observe the patterns and see it before it even happened. I'm gonna know what's going on before, come on. You know what I mean? Never again. And of course, you know, later, you know, of course, in life we had people do goofy things and that was part of the game, but nothing that really touched me. You know what I mean? Nothing that really even, no, you know, we'll probably get into that later on in the story, but so in warfare, you want to make sure that you are consistently learning and building yourself. This is how you will stay ahead of the curve. You will stay ahead of the people around you. You want to be reading. You want to be learning. You want to be building your body. You want to be exercising. You want to be training some type of martial arts. You need to know how to really hurt someone without a weapon. You need to know how to, just being honest, you need to know as a man, you need to know how to take a life without a gun. You know what I mean? You need to know how to take a life without a gun. And not saying that you should do these things, but I'm saying that in order for you to really master peace, you need to know how to really wage war. Because if you don't know how to do these things, then you really can't be peaceful for real. And that's from my perspective. You know what I mean? That's from my perspective. I'm pretty sure, like, if we look back on it, all the greatest philosophers and the people of the religions, this, that, and the third, they was warriors before they was priests. You know what I mean? So that warrior aspect still lived in them. So the first thing is, you lose the war when you act with violence. As soon as you initiate violence, you've lost the war. Reason being that in today's society, if you act with violence, bro, you going up the road. It opens up more violence. So when you attack someone with violence, you have to understand that these people have family. These people have friends. A lot of people just not gonna go for that. You know what I mean? You opening yourself up to more violence. And I'm speaking from experience. Like, you know, of course, I come from a violent neighborhood. And the only way that I know this is because I've experienced this. You're going to open yourself up to more violence. I promise you. And that ain't really, it's more costly than it is effective. And you really don't want to rule by fear. You know, of course, you know, a lot of the movies they taught us, you know, you want to rule by fear and this, that, and the third. Nah, you don't want to rule by fear at all. You don't want to rule by fear at all. And I really want to finish this. See, I don't be doing a lot of talking. So this is me kind of like exercising a muscle in a sense. I don't, especially this day and how I am. Like, some days I might just talk to my partners, you know what I mean? Say what I need to say to them. And other than that, I be silent. I spend a lot of time in silence. So for me to be doing this and speaking is me. I'm really working a muscle for real, for real. And I kind of want to end this video. Oh, to end this video. I really, you know what I mean? I'm at an hour, you know, and some of my teachers, man, those guys will go 4 hours, something crazy. Wow. Wow. I see the genius in them to get on here and talk for 4 hours, spitting straight game, straight. Ooh. Gotta be a master. You ain't nothing to play with. To get on here and to speak for multiple hours, man, he was a true master. I admire that, you know what I mean? I guess you really never know how something is until you. So, let's get back to it. Come on, big dog. Okay, so in waging war, the one with the highest frequency wins. In waging war, the one with the highest frequency wins. So when you move with love, that's why when they say love your enemy, it's actually a very profound parable. Because when someone say they anger you or they annoy you and they trying to like wage war, if you can take yourself to love and even gratitude while they at hate and disdain, you're automatically going to think of a situation to maneuver around this, to run circles around this situation, because they're not going to be able to play with you. Because you're moving from love and gratitude. And if you can keep that energy, it's going to be something to love and be grateful about this situation. And you can turn any enemy into a friend if that's what you desire. You can turn any enemy into a friend because everything is mental. If you sit here looking at that person, you sending them love energy and you sending love energy to their chakras, to their heart chakra. Or really, I wouldn't go to their heart. Go to their root because that's probably where they at. They sit here trying to provoke you. Then you oscillate above them. Also, another rule of war. You want to have a wise counsel in life. You want to have people that you can get game from. People that have been through what you're going through or about to go through and can give you the game on it. And oftentimes, you never really know who a person is. When I say this is the reason why I say this. There was this one guy that, what I mean is when I say you never really know who a person is, you do, but you never really know where your message is going to come from. You have to be open to receive the messages that you need. So there was this guy, right, in my neighborhood. He was one of those street guys who get drunk in the streets, do drugs, hard drugs, you know what I mean? Be out there wilding, getting public intoxication charges, this, that, and the third. But there are those ones that, the whole hood still loves for some reason. You know, and one of my guys, or at least the people who can see, the people who have a vision, one of my guys, his name was Tommy Real Nigga, right? He's now an ancestor. Shout out Tommy Real Nigga. you know, sometimes that man would just tell me the most profound things. And it was things that I needed to hear when I needed to hear it. Now, there will be times that you'll pull up to the corner store and this nigga drunk as hell with a shirt tied on his head and he dancing to no music. He just out there dancing. What the fuck is he doing? You know what I mean? It'd be some days, if I had the time, I'd tell him to hop in with me. Come on, bro, before you get a PR. What you doing? Come on, let's go. You know what I mean? You just riding, man. You know what I mean? We just riding. I'm looking and we talking, chopping up game. But there was one time when I had, I first went to jail. My first time going to jail. And he was my cellmate. He was my cellie. And he was just giving me the game. He was like, see, this the first time I done been sober in a long time. I can see things clear. It's clear now. And he was just like a vessel. He just was like just telling me things that I needed to hear at that time. I was a young guy. I think I was like 18, 19. And I just really needed to hear what he had to tell me. It gave me the strength and the courage to persevere through what I was going through. So sometimes you never know where your blessing is gonna come from. And what I've already given you 2 instances of 2, for lack of better terms, I hate to 2 street people, 2 real people who look like they kind of like down in their luck, kind of doing real hard drugs, drinking, you know what I mean? Person that who society would consider scum, like people look over them. And they didn't help me out in profound fucking ways. Profound ways. So, oftentimes, bro, don't be overlooking people. Just because people down on their luck or they look like, you don't ever know who the fuck somebody is. That might be, you know what I mean, a God, an angel. You don't know who that is. You see somebody looking all clean cut, this, that, and the third, and he looking, that nigga probably a demon. He ready to come take everything from you. Or she, you know what I mean? She looking sexy, she looking bad, this, that, and the third. Ooh. Whole time she got AIDS. You know what I mean? You don't never know. Or she a demon. She just come to take your energy. A succubus. What are you talking about? Bro, you gotta know how to see past appearances. See, right now I'm appearing like this to you, but what I am, it ain't really this. It ain't that. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. And on top of that, I'm just passing through. I'm just passing through. So, when it comes to warfare, you need to be dangerous. You need to be prepared for whatever comes with it. But you have to know how to exercise patience and understanding. Sometimes a nigga will provoke you just because he ready to die. Some niggas be ready to die. And another thing too, if you send one of your soldiers out to handle something, it's still on your hands. It's still on your hands. It still is your action. So the way that you become impenetrable is through your daily routine, your daily ritual. You need to have a refining ritual that you do on a daily basis that's building your mind, your body, and your spirit on a daily basis. These are things that you cannot go without. When you wake up, you need to be programming your mind. You need to be programming your reality. As soon as you get out the bed, don't go straight to that phone. No. You need to be programming your reality. I am this, I am that, I'm wise, I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I'm loving, I'm powerful. You know what I mean? You need to be programming yourself. Today is a good day. Today is a good day. Today is a good day. You need to be speaking these things to yourself. You need to be pushing your body. I'm going to go work out. Get you a sweat in. I'm going to meditate. You need silence. You need to know how to silence your mind. You need to know how to tap into your spirit, how to tap into your soul. Because these things will be a detriment if you don't. If you don't do them, it's going to be a detriment to your well-being. And you just be walking around like a zombie. Or you're going to be getting tricked. Everybody going to be controlling you. If you ain't mastering yourself, then somebody is mastering you. If you're not mastering yourself, then somebody is mastering you. So when it comes to warfare, it's going to come down to discipline, strategy, patience, and even love, compassion. And these things sound very contrary to war, but in order to understand your enemy, you have to understand yourself. And to understand yourself, you have to have compassion for who you are. You have to be like, you got to understand your shortcomings. Because if you can't even understand and accept your shortcomings, you damn sure can't understand and accept others' shortcomings. And this will make you rigid. It will make you act out of anger. It will make you make foolish fucking moves. And as soon as you get violent, you lost the war. As soon as you lose your temper, you lost the war. You got to know how to maneuver around these. Now, you know, I know that like we come from certain environments where people do die, people do take lives. I'm going to be honest with you. The only time that if you're going to take a life or you're going to shed some blood, it should be because that somebody violated a woman in your family. And I don't have to say the word. We know what the word is. If a man violates a woman in your family, whether that be your daughter, your sister, your auntie, your mama, your granny, or even a woman that's close to you, your woman, your partner, past, present, or however it went down, if they violate them, especially in a sexual way, because that's what I'm talking about. And this may be wrong, I don't know, but if you just, because some of us come out the womb, you know what I mean, that was your purpose, to shed some blood. You know what I mean? We got some real warriors that come out the womb. And you got to go through your hero's journey. You got to let that be the reason, not because somebody stole from you. You can get that back. You're not going to lose just keep grinding. Go harder. Succeed on them even more. Whatever they took from you, shit, get that back 10 times. Because take it from me, you know what I mean? Because when somebody, that's a whole nother story, you know what I mean? And I handled that a whole nother way. I didn't have to handle that light. But you ain't gotta do what I did. We ain't in that paradigm no more. We ain't in that paradigm no more, you know? Shine on them. Let your success be that revenge. If you need it. Now, I'm not saying don't have weapons and don't be war ready and don't keep soldiers around. I'm not saying that at all, because you better. You better. You better have somebody around you ready to knock something down. You better be ready to knock something down. You know what I mean? I'm saying be dangerous, but definitely be peaceful. Definitely keep the peace. Because soon as you shed this blood, it's a fucking ripple effect. And then the kids up under you, you gotta think about the kids. Some of them, they don't even know no better. Think about it. From the time you a child to when you an adult, you see over 1,000 people get killed. And you like, how? TV, movies, games. They programming you that. That's the program. So you get desensitized, like you like something gonna have to get knocked down. Now think about it if it's happening in your neighborhood. Think about if it's happening in your front yard and you seeing dead bodies. You like, it hypnotizes you. But you ain't gotta go that route. You ain't gotta go that route. You just need to outthink everyone around you. You have to be, if you're a leader, you have to be thinking for the people around you. So the only way that I feel that someone should be violated, and when I mean violated, I mean life gone. If that's what you're going to do, I want you to think about this. If that's what you're going to do, let it be because they violated a child or a woman. Let that be the only fucking reason. Not because he hurt your pride or your ego, or he took your woman and she willingly gave it up. No, y'all was sharing. Y'all was sharing. That was never, yeah. You know what I mean? Get you another one. Get you 2 more. Get you 3 more. Stun on them. You know what I mean? But you, especially in us, you know what I mean? The people who come from the environment we come from, bro. Come on, bro. What we doing? You really hate yourself if you can just go and take another man's life over something less than him violating a woman or a child. Let that be the only reason. Let that be the only motherfucking reason that you take a life. If you're going to take a life. Now, if somebody come at you trying to take your life, because, we survived those shootouts too. I had my fair share. But even that was behind some goofy shit. That shit wasn't about Nathan. That shit wasn't about Nathan. You know what I mean? It wasn't about Nathan. Should have never been in them. Now, the hero's journey. You're going to have to go through what you had to go through. But let it make sense. Let it make sense. Develop yourself. Refine your energy daily. Stay focused. Stay on the path. Seek wisdom first. Wisdom is more valuable than gold. Continue on your path. I'm grateful for you. I will definitely pick up where I left off on this video. But right now, I'm going to be signing out. This is Geometry999. You are special. You are powerful. You are wealthy. You are prosperous. You can do anything you put your mind to. Just strive for it. Strive for it. Thank you.